Checkout tracking by the NPD Group brings you a receipt collecting system that gathers data anonymously through technology we created, providing your businesses with answers.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us here today. As he said, my name is Chris Dury, and I'm in Amazon's web services business. My day job is to focus on developer success. Sorry. At Amazon, we love games. Games are played by people everywhere. It's a rapidly growing and evolving business, and games push the boundaries of technology. And for these reasons and others, Amazon's heavily invested in games. So I'll talk a little bit about some big areas where Amazon's investing in games, give you some context. AWS powers a lot of games, and we build services that make it better, faster, cheaper to build your games. We're gamers ourselves. We also make games, and here's some examples. Amazon Game Studios this year released 4 premium mobile games on Android and iOS. You can see them here: Tales from Deep Space, Tofu Fury, Lost Within, and Till Morning's Light. All of these games were Editor's Choice and Game of the Month, selected by Apple. We make these games because we want to stay connected with gamers, and it allows us to sit in our customers' shoes as game developers to understand what game development needs are and help solve those problems. Recently, Twitch joined the Amazon family. Twitch has fundamentally changed the way that games are discovered and consumed, and gamers find this a service that they just can't live without. In the next session, you'll hear more from one of the Twitch founders if you want more information on it. Amazon has a big retail business, obviously. We sell a lot of games. We sell game hardware and game accessories. This is a pretty cool example, Fallout 4. This is a limited edition of Fallout 4 where you can insert your phone into this case and it interact with the Fallout 4 mobile app. The really amazing thing is this limited edition bundle costs $60 more than the standard game, but it's sold out in hours. So an interesting way to think about how to monetize. In fact, that's our topic today. Just a few years ago, succeeding with a mobile game was almost as simple as creating a good game and publishing it on the App Store. I know I was there from the beginning. I remember in the first couple of years of the App Store, the largest games had less than $10 million in revenue. But there weren't that many, and you could get in and get to the top of the charts. Now we've evolved to the point where even paid user acquisition isn't enough. We need to look for ways to retain users, and we all grapple with the fact that it's very hard to convert free-to-play users into paid users. That said, there's still a lot of opportunity. On any given day, a game can rocket to the top of the charts. This is one of my current favorite examples, Agar.io. Who's played this? We'll talk a little bit about it more in a bit. It's a really fun game, but what's amazing is that in 4 days, this game was published and became #1 on iOS. So this is just weeks ago, and they're in the top 20 still. So out of nowhere, you can create a great game and reach millions of customers. So how do we capitalize on this opportunity? Top developers are innovating on new ways to grow revenue, and that's what we'll talk about today. At Amazon, we spend a lot of time helping game developers succeed. And if we were to sit down today, I'd likely gravitate to these 3 areas: user acquisition, the core game loop, and monetization loop. And most games spend a lot of their time focused on getting this MVP right. And they often stop there. What we find is that top developers see the MVP as just the start. So what we'll talk about today is how to monetize with cloud community and commerce. This includes building games as a service, helping gamers become content creators, and also selling branded merchandise. So I'll show some examples of these and ways that you can do this too. So starting with the cloud. Games as a service, you may be familiar with this. The way that I define games as a service is a game that's continuously improved with no set destination. The game is never done. And running your game as a service is a way to keep users engaged on an ongoing basis with fresh and relevant content. We're going to focus on 3 techniques today. One is to price for retained users. Next, to run time-limited events. And then, of course, to update often. So starting with some data from the Amazon App Store for Android. This shows the importance of retained users. The chart shows in-app purchases by hours in the first 2 weeks after download. And you can see it's clear that most active purchasing happens in the first day. And that equates to about 18% of the total value. But that means that 82% of the value happens in the next several days. And most purchases, therefore, come from retained users over time. Not only do they mostly come from retained users, but the regulars spend more. This data shows that from day 1 to day 30, the average purchase price increases by 60%. What that means is as people become more comfortable with their game, they're willing to spend more. And so knowing this, you can test different price points on items that are more often purchased later in the game or more often purchased from retained users. Here's an example of a time-limited event. This is an event that App Store ran on Twitch over 2 days. This is a promotion for Hearthstone, the card battle game. It's timed to coincide with in-app purchases that are discounted for the largest currency packs in an in-app event. And so an example for you might be if you run a time-limited in-game challenge, you discount the top purchase points price points to try to move people up to the top. And then you can reach out through something like Twitch, which allows you to re-engage retained users and make them aware of the promotion. Look at the results here, 263,000 viewers of the promoted video, 10 million minutes watched, and 66 minutes of view time per unique user, which is just amazing. We did this, Amazon did this, but you can too. The broadcasters that are playing your game on Twitch are already your fans, and so they'll be open to you reaching out and engaging with them, finding ways that you can work together. There are thousands of broadcasters out there, and it's available for you to reach out to them. Another example this is an example of a developer who does a great job of updating often and has some public data so we can look at it. This is a game that's 8 years old, T-Fortress 2. Anybody play this? Used to? 50,000 peak or average concurrent users. 50,000 average concurrent users. That's still an amazing number. 8 years into it. How did they do this? One way is through continuous changes. And so we can see the data here. This year, from January 15 to July 15, they made 29 updates with a total of 377 changes, which averages out to 2 changes a day. So a ton of activity here. But not all changes have to be big. You might add new content, which takes longer, but it might be as simple as bug fixes or optimizing prices or changing difficulty levels. The point here is to keep people engaged with fresh content. So these are 3 ways that you can use games as a service to help grow quality users, improve retention, and monetize beyond the MVP. I'm going to look at community now. You might not have the staffing to do regular content updates, but everybody has access to the tools to build communities around your games. Developing and empowering a community around your game will help drive discovery and as well as engagement. And so I'll show you some examples. Everybody knows this guy. He's the #1 YouTube streamer. And just as a sort of case study, you can You probably know this story, but playing Flappy Bird on this day a couple of years ago, he generated 25.7 million views. And the impact we can measure looking at Google search trends. You can see this just huge spike. But he can't play every game, and so what can you do? Twitch has unbelievable engagement, 100 million visitors and 16 billion minutes watched per month. A lot of people think about it as the place for competitive PC games, but casual games can succeed too. And here's an example. Agar.io has been very successful on Twitch. It's a casual multiplayer game where everyone controls a dot and tries to eat each other. That's the whole game. It's remarkably fun and engaging. You look at that and say, why would I play? But try it. It's a natural fit for Twitch streams because the content for the game is the players. It's just a dot. You control it. But it allows people to chat and play along with the broadcaster. And so the result is that millions of people have watched Agar.io streams on Twitch. You're all familiar with Minecraft and Trivia Crack, I'm sure. They both are community-driven content generation inside their games. The gamers create the content. In Minecraft, that's amazing creations that people can share. In Trivia Crack, it's their question factory. This idea of endless content generated by your community is brilliant. It makes the games more fun, but it's also easier for you and less cost, and becomes less cost for you to produce great content. I use these examples because they both started out as small indies. Just a few people were involved in these games, and yet, because they ran their games as services in part, they became the wild successes that we know today. Here's something you might not have thought of before. Physical commerce, branded merchandise around your game. Disney, Activision, and Rovio sell branded merchandise. They do it to generate revenue, to create deeper connections with their fans, and to promote their game offline. But we're starting to see casual and mobile games do this too. We've even seen some games generate more from branded merchandise sales than from mobile ads. So here's an example. These are a few items that are currently on sale on Amazon from mobile games. We have a t-shirt from Cut the Rope. We have a marmot from My Singing Monsters, and a cell phone case from Brave Frontier. They look great and the quality is good. This is an example of how My Singing Monsters promotes their physical branded merchandise. They created an ad inside the game, which you can see there. They're trying to reach their fans at the moment when they're most deeply engaged, and then make some compelling merchandise available just clicks away. And so when a customer clicks on this ad, it takes them to the Amazon site. And you can see here the marmot. Customers love this. You can see the star rating is over 4. We have 71 customer reviews, and there's even 2-day Prime shipping. Pretty cool. They also have this is an example of how My Singing Monsters cross-promotes their merchandise. They have a wide range of merchandise they've created. This is called a brand page on Amazon, and it shows all of the items. You control the layout and graphics here. We can see they have 5 t-shirts. It looks really nice, and if you can read that, the really great deal is $11.99 for a really nice t-shirt. So branded merchandise is a great way to convert your fans into customers, create deeper connections with your players, and also promote your game offline. So I covered 3 ways that innovative developers are monetizing with cloud community and commerce. We looked at techniques to help you grow quality users, improve retention, and monetize beyond the MVP. And all of these tools are available for you today. And that's it. We have an active blog at developer.amazon.com/blog. It has monetization best practices and case studies. We're really active on social, so please feel free to follow us on Twitter too. So thanks.